Mark it up.
No.
Like $12 for it.
I'd like to call the meeting to order. A moment of silence, please. Please rise for the flag salute. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
In accordance with the provisions of the Open Public Meeting Act, a public notice of this meeting has been sent to board members, all district schools, the Herald News, the Trends, the Record, the Messenger, West Milford Town Hall, the County Superintendent's Office, the Board Attorney, and Cablevision of Warwick, and posted in the Administration Building. Copies of the board meeting calendar resolution were provided to all local media, Town Hall, Township Library, and all district schools. Roll call, Mrs. Francisco.
Mrs. Romeo.
Here.
Mr. Seidowitz.
Here.
Mr. Drew.
Here.
Mrs. Dwyer.
Here.
Mr. Garino.
Here.
Mrs. Fritz.
Here.
Mr. Ovchinsky.
Here.
Ms. O'Brien.
Here.
Mrs. Van Dyke.
Here. Dr. Animo.
Yes, good evening, everybody. Welcome to our October meeting. We do have our standardized testing report, but we are going to go slightly out of order on the agenda. I'm going to ask our student representative, Brian Renna, to give his report. So in case he has to leave early tonight, he can get his work done now.
Great,
Mr.
thank
Renna?
you. Good evening. Lots of events are happening in our district. Just to name a few, we had our district-wide Pinwheels for Peace event, where students created pinwheels and planted them into the ground to symbolize peace. The district also had a digital citizenship day where students learned how to be honorable citizens while online. The district also had a digital citizen, in the beginning of October, the district had a week of respect where students in the high school stuck positive and motivational post-its on the lockers and dressed in specific outfits each day of the week. The high school also had their second annual expo night where tables were set up all around the high school gym and cafeteria for younger students to be able to see the clubs and sports that they could join in the high school. The expo night had a great turnout, and it was great to see the younger Highlanders feel excited to come to the high school. On October 10th, Melissa Straub visited the high school where she talked to the students about cyberbullying and online safety. She also gave a presentation at night. In mid-October, Macabin students went to the city to go see Wicked on Broadway, and the 7th graders will be going to Fairview early in November during that long weekend for the teachers' convention. The high school's guidance department has been working greatly with our senior class to help them as much as possible with our college applications, with the FAFSA workshop night and the financial aid information session, which took place this month. The high school will also be having a career day in early November. The month of October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month, and today students and staff were asked to wear pink in order to raise awareness for breast cancer. As we approach Halloween, many schools will be having their annual trunk or treat. The high school spooktacular happened this weekend, and we had a fantastic turnout as well, raising lots of money with the help of Macabin's Haunted Hallway for Cheryl's Den Animal Rescue organization. As the season continues, so do our fall sports. Our fall athletes are doing amazing in their season with teams such as boys and girls cross country, girls field hockey, gymnastics, and boys and girls soccer. The Highlander Marching Band is doing great as well in their season. They will be going to states and nationals this week. In addition, on October 25th, we honored our greatest alumni in the first West Milford Hall of Excellence induction dinner. Are there any questions? No, sir. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Brian. All right, now if the board, at least the board on this side, want to get more comfortable, we're going to start our report now. We have Mr. Novak and Dr. Matlow helping out as well. All right, good evening, everybody. Welcome to our annual testing report. A lot of data in this packet. The board members have it all. Members of the public have copies as well. We'll be going over most of what's in the board members' packet. We did miss a few slides from the hard copy that didn't make it onto the PowerPoint. Just to speed up the evening, it's 80 slides or so we tried to condense it just a little bit. But if you have any questions at any time, just stop us or flag us a question at the end. So, tons of good news here, and we're happy to Okay. So testing highlights, right away. Our math scores went up 7.9%, and our English scores went up 8%. This is tremendous growth, year-over-year growth. In a nutshell, if you look at the third bullet point, we used to be lower than the state average in almost all grades, and now we're higher than the state average in almost all grades. Not every grade, but almost all grades. Okay? And our 5-year trend is higher in every grade, in every subject, for both subjects, math and English. So we'll be sharing this with the community tomorrow in a broadcast email. But we're very proud of the work our administrators did, our teachers, our students, our parents, everybody working together. This is very atypical. This is not what you see on the statewide in New Jersey last year. So a couple of new slides this year. You used to see in these slides the chart which shows a 5-year growth. These first 4 years here are going to be the park. And year 5, last year, is something called the SLA, New Jersey SLA. So we removed ourselves from the park consortium, which is multi-state. And now we go back to doing our own statewide only test, which is very similar to the park. And we added some other slides this year to give you a sense of the history of our 5-year average in our subject. So it's a lot of grades here at the bottom in English, but you can generally see a line of best fit from lower left to upper right, which shows you how much we're growing. Then we broke it down by grades, by line graph, and you can see how much we did. So we went up in 3rd grade ELA last year. The state average went down. So you can see how we were better than them, and now we're still better, but by a wider margin. You're going to see some version of that on every slide today. Yes?
Quick question. Okay, so we're the 15, 16, 17, 18 park, correct?
Correct.
And then 19 is NJSLA?
Correct.
And that's for both the state and for us as well, right?
It's just New Jersey 2019.
Yeah.
2018 to 15, that was multi-state. New Jersey was other
Okay.
states as well.
All right. Okay.
So if you had a chance to look at your last year's slides, you might see West Milford compared to New Jersey and also the national average of the multi-state consortium. We don't have that anymore. All right. Grade 4 English, as you can see, the state went down, West Milford went up. Grade 5, we were below the state average, and now we're moving above it. Grade 6, same exact story. Grade 7, we were way below the state back here, and we slowly narrowed the gap, and this year, we leapfrogged them by a significant amount. Grade 8, jumpy. Grade 8, same thing. We were right about equal to the state average over 4 years, and now we're made that steep leap. Grade 9, we're just below the state average, but again, we're narrowing the gap. We went up by a greater percentage than the state did last year. So at this rate, we should be able to move ahead of this line by 2020. Grade 10, still below the state average, but again, narrowing the gap considerably this year. This is our 5-year passing rate in math. Again, 4 years of Park, 1 year of SNLA. And you can see we're significantly up in all grades, in all subjects. This is our 5-year average. You see the one steep leap, that's Algebra 2 at the high school.
Wow.
So that's dramatic improvement. These other lines are again showing some improvement, not as steep as ELA, but still improvement. All right, math, as you can see, we're above the state average. 3rd grade, 4th grade, Same thing, we jumped significantly this past year. 5th grade, we finally got ahead of the state average this past year. 6th grade, we moved considerably up in a year when the state moved considerably down. So if you look at the gap here, it was negative a couple points, and now it's positive. It's a pretty significant jump year over year. Grade 7, we're just quite there, catching the state average. We should hopefully catch them this year. Grade 8, we did catch them and exceeded them this year for the first time in 5 years.
And Alex, when you say grade 8, that's this year's freshmen?
Correct.
Thank you.
These are the current 9th graders.
Yep, okay.
All right, our algebra is still below the state average, but again, it's rising at a much more steep rate than the state is. The state is relatively flat these past couple of years. We're improving. We should be passing them this year. Same with geometry. We're narrowing the gap. And as you saw before, Algebra 2 skyrocketed this year from 20% to about 60%.
Amazing. Wow.
Right. Now, we also have these next few slides. We broke it down by school. There's 5 levels that you can score on this test. There's no partial credit. You're either a 1, a 2, a 3, a 4, or 5. 4 and 5 is passing. 3, 2, and 1 is not passing. Okay? 3, and it could be 1 or 2 questions that really moves you from one category to the other. But you see, this is English Language Arts, 3rd grade. The sample sizes for all these schools are pretty small. You have 28 or 29, 30 students in a whole grade at, say, PK. It could shift the scores. 1 or 2 students could shift it 5 or 6%. So these numbers do tend to jump from different grades, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's not until you get to 7th grade that you see the sample size getting larger when you're looking at the whole 7th grade. High school, again, the first year we're seeing is below the state average, but barely. In grade 10, same thing, below the state average, but barely. All right, this is math by school and by grade. So it's significant to see the number of zeros down at this end of the spectrum, 0% here, 0%, 2%, which is only 1 student. This is, as you know, we offer district-wide algebra scores. You notice the difference in algebra offered at Macapin versus the high school. They're really mirror images of one another. We had 86% passing at Macapin with 14% of students on the bubble. So it's not inconceivable that we could be at 100% with just a couple more questions, because we had 0 students at this end of the academic spectrum. Right, so as you see, we're trying to push more and more students into math at Macapin, or algebra at Macapin, because we know the test scores, the success rates are higher there. Yes, sir.
I'm just wondering, do you have a sense, you probably do, many states that dropped Park sort of didn't really. It's Park with a couple of things to say, well, it's New Jersey, not Park.
That's what this is.
So they're fairly comparable. Our New Jersey scores
Yes.
are...
The New Jersey Student Learning Assessment, SLA, is, Park had a bad brand name, I think.
Yeah.
New Coke or Edsel or something like that, so they opted out of the consortium, but they didn't want to get rid of the test entirely, so we did the same thing a few years ago with the Common Core, if you remember.
Yeah.
It had a bad brand, so we changed it to the New Jersey Student Learning Standards, but it's really the same, just doesn't have a toxic name, so this is a new look for the department. It's a fresh acronym and probably a very comparable test. If you see the scores statewide, they're really flat, which should tell you that with a large sample size of 1.3 million students, it's not going to jump. If it's the same test, it really won't jump, and it didn't. So our numbers did jump, and that's why we're really moving so highly, is that the state was really flat this year, and we were up 8 points in both English and math.
And aside from the scores, being relatively the same. The items on the test themselves are virtually identical. Standards being assessed, the items in analysis are the same.
Great.
Geometry and algebra 2. Okay, so this, we've talked a lot of it. Mr. Novak talked about Linkit on a number of occasions. So Linkit is, we use it for some benchmark assessments in the classroom. We can administer a brief 30-minute assessment to a classroom in September, and then do a comparable assessment later in the year and measure the growth. Linkit also does data disaggregation. So if you look at the previous slides, they compare Aptua to PK to Maple Road to et cetera. And you see scores, some schools are higher than others, but each school isn't really built the same. Some schools have higher levels of poverty, other schools have higher level of special education students that have programs that are housed there. So if you pull, what Linkit allows us to disaggregate data and pull out certain groups that we want to. So we can pull out any group we want to. We can add 2 different variables to see how our kids are doing. And we did that just fooling around with Linkit, and they sent us back a whole bunch of slides. So these are our students who are not economically disadvantaged and also general education. And you can see the percent passing for each school is slightly different depending on the school. This is by grade, of course. So you start seeing some different trends here, which is really helpful. So in addition to helping us in the classroom, I think Linkit has also helped us with some of this data disaggregation. And it's pointed out some areas that we have some concerns with. So we're here in the 40s, and here, we shouldn't be. We shouldn't be under 50% in any category up on this board here for any reason. 37 here. Here, this is some areas we need to really focus on much more intensely this year. All right, because these are students with no learning disabilities. These are students who typically come from affluent homes. And next up, we have some intervention strategies. This is sort of, we know what we did last year. What are we doing this next year to keep this growth moving forward?
So in your packet, I see some of you flipping ahead to take a look at it. That's on page 33 in your packet. So one of the things that Alex, Dr. Edlund mentioned, Linkit. I was going to jump out with Linkit right away because I say it, probably once every 5 sentences now, it seems. The district-wide commitment to standards-based instruction is really what our goal has been and what we see as the ability to keep this trend going. We had a great year. Our staff really nailed it this year with all of the work they've been doing and moving our kids forward. But we're not going to stop and rest on this past year's success. We're going to continue going and moving forward. And I believe we're just getting started in how we're looking at this assessment, how we're looking at the things that we do. So talking more about standards-based instruction, teaching to. So one of the things that has always been not a great term to use is teaching to the test. And that's not what I believe we've been doing, and I don't believe that's what we are planning to do going forward. But if we are able to focus more on the standards-based instruction and the things that we do, then we're going to naturally prepare those kids for the state assessment as it comes up, regardless what they call it from one year to the next. As long as we're focusing on those standards, we're going to prepare those kids better. The standards-based benchmark assessment, where Linkit comes in, it's the first time we have a tool that lets us know periodically throughout the year how our students are doing on the state standards that they're supposed to accomplish at that particular point in time. So all of our students who are taking the standards-based benchmark this year have already taken it for the fall. We're working with have school-based data teams and professional learning communities. Our staff are really digging deep and looking at the information they're getting, not just from the NJSLA, but also from this Linkit assessment, and taking a look at the standards that kids are doing really well and standards where our students need growth. We take another benchmark around December, January time period. So we're anticipating at the January board meeting to give you an update on how we've been doing from what we call benchmark A to benchmark B, just to see what we've done and which standards we've really moved, which standards we're still doing a good job with, and which standards we need to work on prior to the assessment for the state exam. So a commitment to standards is really what this is all about. Moving down, we've been looking closely at something called evidence statement tables. So within the information that we get from the NJSLA, we get a document called the evidence statement table, which tells us exactly how our students compared by standard to their district and state and school peers. So we have it we have it from the school level, we have it on the district level, and we have it on the state level to see what our performance is by standard. We also get, which I think is interesting, you also see how many students took that particular question. So if we have a standard that's way above the norm, we can see that 250 kids took it. We know that's a valid assessment. We have a number that's way below the norm. We see that two students took it. We know it's not a valid evidence statement table. So we're able to take a look at those. We're able to pinpoint on a planning level what standards we have to address as a district and as a school. We also are able to pinpoint that for individuals, children. So being able to take a look at that has been really helpful. From that, I talk about standards-based instruction. We have to arm our staff better for being able to do just what we said. So that comes with our curriculum alignment, taking a look at what standards we're teaching at what time during the year. Some of the feedback we got from district data team over the summer when we were looking at evidence statement tables was that some of our math teachers were horrified that we did horrible in a particular set of standards, and we're not teaching those until after the test. So those are the things that come out of really looking and digging deeper into this work, is that when you listen to the staff and you listen to the data that we're receiving, it kind of fills the big picture. Pace and guide review is pretty similar to what I just described about making sure we're teaching the standards at the right time in the school year. We have to be careful from is not trying to pack it all in and trying to find those creative ways to get some of those 10 minutes, whether it's the 10 minutes during calendar time in the elementary school, or in the support periods at another level, to try and get some of those standards in, get exposure to those standards if they're not making them, if they're not getting that direct teaching until after the assessment. So those are the things we're working on. That's going to be this year in reviewing all of our curriculum. Material enhancement, supports, and supplements, those are the things that we're going to have to add. Yes.
Quick question. We, I believe, had discussed increasing the amount of time spent in the classroom on mathematics at the lower levels. Did that start this year, or?
That started this year.
Okay.
So as of September, we now have 90 minutes of math instruction at the elementary level. Prior to that, it was 60.
So we may see another big jump.
We will.
Next. Will. Sorry.
You're a stock guy, right? You're buying West Milford stock. Are you buying or selling right now?
These are good. Buy.
Right.
Mr. Novak?
Yes.
I have a question. Who sets the time for the test?
Yep.
The dates?
Who sets the
Yeah,
dates?
because you said we're not, is it the state test?
For the NJSLA or for the?
Or for the ones that you're saying we're taking the test prior to
The
teaching?
NJSLA is, the window is provided by the state.
So we're looking at that window now,
Right.
to make sure that we don't have that happen
Yeah, well,
again.
that's one of the things I think we have done well over the years, is try to give, actually last year we made a decision to let the math class take their test late.
Oh, I never saw it.
When we gave the ELA assessment, based on the idea that, the ELA test, not that every classroom is important, but you can get more skills in prior to the assessment with the math. But we've been trying to make those assessments, but now we've got knowledge in place, maybe we'll talk about it later. I'm sure he can do a good job.
Do we have a schedule for that now, so that?
For this current school year?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's on, we can share, it.
Dr. Matlock, will
It's all online, actually, sorry.
will you be in the building during testing for the whole time?
Answer.
For the high school?
Floating,
For the high school.
I think the beauty of what I have this year, especially with our testing team, utilizing several, administration to myself, I'm constantly floating around. We have in our elementary schools, our building testing coordinators as well that I work with.
Our
But at the high
district-
school
our
level,
district-
high
Our
school.
district testing coordinator wouldn't be on site, that's why we have a site-based testing coordinator for each assessment.
That makes sense.
So then
One
what,
sitting behind.
what about the high school?
We have a testing coordinator
We do.
Who is?
designated by the building principal.
Oh, it's the principal, okay, yeah.
Oh, I thought it was you. I thought it was you.
Dr. Mello says that district-wide, and he'll meet with 8 school representatives periodically. to
So you
discuss
do
that.
not have to be in the schools?
Like other districts, they have a testing coordinator district-wide that's handling from the district end, especially the communication piece. But also looking at making sure the uploads are, correct to the state, working with, the Winston spec, especially well with those uploads,
So
so
you have nothing to
quite a
do
bit.
with being in the school to make sure it goes off smoothly?
He has everything to do with it.
Yes.
And doesn't need to be on site.
It's all on me.
Oh, really? Oh, wow.
Is there like, you said there's a committee, there's a group?
There's one per school.
Okay, and then do they meet with you after the testing, is that?
I'll give you an example. So we just recently in the elementary did our COGAT testing. So afterwards, especially being my first year as district testing coordinator, I'm a big believer in actually meeting with our staff afterwards just to make sure what did we do right, what did we do wrong, how do we fix that, obviously making a much smoother transition for next year.
Okay.
If you want, if you want.
Yeah, just so that we
Yeah,
kind of have
I
it.
can invite Dr. Mello, so I'm sure.
Yes, because I don't know what
He could
anybody
come.
does.
Bring him along.
Sometimes it's fun to All right, so moving on, digging deeper into the data. So one of the things we've been focusing on for the last 2 years, and it really took a step up last year, was the idea of taking a look at the individual students. So one of the phrases we've been working on this year is that we need to know administrators, teachers, all staff, we need to know each student by name and by need. So every student needs something differently. That's been the real goal of the differentiated instruction goal that we've been talking about for 3 or 4 years now, is that we are able to target those kids and take a deep look. Bringing in a tool like Linkit has allowed us to really take that to the next level. And underneath, and it doesn't really sound like the best way to label, but we're taking a very close look at what we call bubble kids. We're certainly not calling them a bubble kid into their face. It's just when we look at the data, we take a look at, we call bubble kids. And I will describe bubble kids, and you can vote yea or nay in the next, if you want me to use that phrase ever again. We didn't make it up. A bubble kid is, and Dr. Enlund pointed out earlier,
We know. Someone on the line.
Dr. Animal pointed out earlier, one of these, here, and this is a perfect example slide. So we have students at approaching level 3 and students at meeting expectations at a level 4. At the level of passing is 750. So we have so many of these kids collecting at 3 and 4, and a lot of them are 746, or a lot of them are 756, which could be the difference for 1 or 2 questions on a test. That 1 or 2 questions is the difference between us showing you sharp spikes up or possibly sharp spikes down. So in the old days, you would call this like the middle. These are the kids that, they do their work, they come to school, and often they're, because they're not, maybe the top of the class or the kid who needs intensive support, they're just doing what they're supposed to do. So now we are taking a closer look at those students in a similar way as we would a student who qualifies for our basic skills or our encore program through that standards-based instruction. Being able to take a look at those bubble kids and see what standards they are exceeding at, what standards they are doing a great job with, and what standards they need help. Those standards that need help could be the difference between us showing you a sharp spike up or a sharp spike down. So I think we're on the right track with the things that we're doing, and that, to me, is a big difference in what we're doing. I know that the PLCs and our...
We're out here.
Stand back here?
Yeah, we're
I
sorry.
just have a question about these bubble students. Once they're identified, you talked about resource, or you talked about Encore, whatever. How do you make sure that you meet the needs of that bubble kid?
So
What
in
do you-
our...
What do you do?
So our work with our principals and supervisors
The only
is...
gentleman tells you.
Well,
Yeah, but once they're identified, what do you do with them?
once they're
I mean,
identified,
these poor bubble kids, they got a bomb.
once they're identified,
They got a
right, we pull the data,
math?
We have PLC meetings monthly. We have
Okay.
grade level common planning in a lot of places where our fifth grade teams and our third grade teams, et cetera. We have now cluster meetings for the first time in Macapin, where they can come together and talk about those kids and talk about those particular standards.
So once you've talked about them and you've talked about the standards, how do you help that student?
You're coming up with a
That's a
plan,
very
All right,
simplified
you come
answer,
up with, all
but we're
right,
making
you
sure
come up
that
with a
that-
plan.
that-
Is the child taken out of a class, or is there a
No, this
special
is,
class
this is
provided?
tier one stuff. This is classroom instruction that is, now it might be, because chances are, that standard
Good question.
could be beneficial for the whole class. So now the teacher is a little bit more tuned in, or maybe there's 6 kids here who are weak in that standard, and they can incorporate that standard into their lesson planning for the upcoming weeks or months. So it's not a
It's not a
intensive
separate class,
oversight. Well, it
okay.
can be if you're doing guided reading and you're doing small group instruction, you can work those things into what you're doing. So those are the things we're talking about, those are the things our principals are working on with our teams and our INRS teams and everything we have in place.
All right, I'm gonna throw in something real quick, sorry. So sorry. Since the focus is on language arts and math only,
No, it's not. Tonight it is.
Good answer.
the focus right now is language arts and math, correct?
Tonight it
That's what
is,
the state
correct.
tests.
For the testing, Debbie.
For the
you're right.
testing, yes. They only test, no, they don't. So we also have a science assessment
Okay.
that we're not presenting on yet because we don't have the scores.
Forever.
Go on, finish. I apologize.
All right, Esteem, can I in the high school and the middle school, do they take language arts and history and kind of, kind of combine lessons along those lines where, the kids are getting a little bit of language arts, but the history and then the science and the math? Is that,
I think those have been topics of discussion that I've heard coming out of the Macapin cluster
Right.
planning that they have.
Okay.
The high school, that's a more difficult task, but I know our history department, for example, prides themselves on incorporating as much writing and reading into the content as they can.
Right.
I think I would say, and I don't know if we don't have any here, that our history department is as particular about how children are writing and their improvement in writing
Okay.
as they are as the content that
So
they're.
you have a history person?
You nodded, I'm sorry. We had one. I didn't know that I looked and I
Yes, we're
found one
making a
and I didn't
huge
acknowledge.
push.
Yes, yeah, so I would say they take that pride.
Put them on the bubble.
Right, because I figure if you're if you're educating a child, I mean, there's more than one way to educate a child, and you could use different modalities, different topics, subjects,
Sure.
and then educate it.
Cross-curricular.
Cross-train, exactly. So that's why I wanted to bring
And
that up.
actually, that was something, bringing that up, that was one of the things that we got marked highly on in the discussion when we had a CUSAC review, was about our cross-curricular connections that are actually in our curriculum guides. We pinpoint those things, and we've identified those things in our curriculum, which was not common in Passaic County,
Both elementary, middle school, or just strictly middle school?
across the board, K-12.
Okay. All right. Thank you, sir.
So that's actually a great question because it's not always that the history department is looking at these scores though.
Well, he
you
doesn't
know,
think it's a
and
great
so that
question. That's okay.
it works, that they know the scores too and what we need to work on and stuff. So in departments, that's a great idea.
So all of our teachers have access to, we have a couple glitches going on still with Lincoln of getting resource center teachers access to everything. But all of our departments have access to Lincoln, so they can see if they have a student on their roster, they can see all of their testing data. So they can start to judge patterns and take a look at those things. So those are things we're also talking about, not just for testing, but for the overall welfare of the student.
Absolutely,
To see if there's a pattern in attendance, Lincoln shows attendance, Lincoln shows tardy, Lincoln shows everything. So when a teacher logs in to see a student, they just don't see how they did on the NJSLA last year. They see everything about that student.
I wanted to ask one other question. It's kind of going along with, I think, what Terry was asking. And I want to also ask this as a board member and a parent. Like for parents that, if their child didn't meet expectations. I heard you say that these are level 1 interventions, encore and things like that. So if a child doesn't meet expectations, how do they get to level 2 interventions?
I don't know if that's a question for tonight.
Okay, that's fine.
However, we do have
I think that's kind of what Terry was asking. It
Right,
doesn't
so we-
need to be
so I can go
reviewed
into that.
tonight.
That's an hour
But I
discussion.
guess then to just ask it smaller are just these test scores enough for
So
level
these
2
scores- so these
interventions?
scores, to give it, to do that hour
I
in
know the answers, but-
1 or 2 sentences, we
Yeah.
use those test scores to help, not evaluate, to help identify students' needs.
Good, thank
So
you.
if the students' needs warrant more discussion, we have processes in place through intervention referral service, we have section 504, we have a number of processes in place where we can do that, and Link It is a tool that helps us identify more skills. Link It, what parents will see this fall is the process through Link It called fingertip reports, which gives you, it's like a report card for data. So every parent will be able to see their students' performance over time in terms of data. And when we look at the Link It benchmark assessments will be on there, they'll also be able to see how they've done standards-wise.
Thank you.
Observation. Do you recognize bubble kids as an awful term? If I told you you're on the bubble for not recognizing your history teacher, you immediately feel bad. A potential word, frontier. Somebody's pressing the frontier, they're exploring the frontier, they're about to cross the frontier. Much more, you may think of other words.
I didn't think of bubble. It's actually, Link It provides that information, and they identify them they do the work for us.
Dr. Matlow.
What's that? I was trying to cover up for him, but definitely not me. I like that. All right, moving on. All right, as I mentioned, it's not all about the test. So a lot of our work and a lot of our success on the test this past year was about our overall approach to the things that we're doing. Each student by name and by needs, not just ELA and math, it's the big picture. So we brought in some tools. We have a tremendous professional development process. I keep saying Link It is what we have now. We're using this tool. We brought in a Link It or a data expert to come in and help us interpret some of the things that we've been finding. She's sort of been launching opening our eyes and some of the things we can do with data. We are in the process of rekindling our relationship with William Paterson University for something called the Professors in Residence Program. We are in the middle of, we're year 4 coming up in our ELA plan. So if you take a look at some of our testing results, and if you look at the trends you see in ELA, you can look at some of the things that we've done within the ELA 4-year plan that Mrs. West and I sat down to develop back in 2015, and you can see those things playing out. I've mentioned it to our new math supervisor probably 30 times since she started interviewing about the ability to sit down and take a look at what a 5-year math plan looks like. So it's a very exciting process. So we're also able to target PD. So if we see that our curriculum or our pacing guides are falling short on particular standards, then, or even that evidence statement tables, if we are not armed to teach certain standards, then we have to provide that and make sure that everyone's comfortable teaching those things. And we also have a wide range of evidence-based student and staff resources, and that's just to name a few of the things that we've talked about in here a few times. One of them I probably haven't spoken about a lot in here is Albert I.O., and that's a good segue into Dr. Matlos's presentation. We start talking about AP scores. Albert I.O. gives our AP teachers the ability to practice AP items, and that is something we started last year, and we are looking at now, actually just one of those great moments of visiting a department meeting and hearing our ELA AP teachers talking about, Lincoln's great, but it doesn't really do enough for us. We said, well, let's take a look at it. Let's see what Lincoln can do. So now we're meeting with them to see how they can load their Albert I.O. data into Lincoln so that they can have a better way of creating that analysis. So make a little work later for that. If there's any more questions on this, I can introduce Dr. Metros to start with AP.
Before we, just one question on Link It. Link It is going to be a tool that we are going to be using during conference times to show the parents?
That's
Because
right.
this.
That's what the fingertip report.
Okay, so parents are going to get a look at what has been going on. I mean, we're talking about bubble kids, but I mean, they're gonna get a look at what this is gonna be. I don't mean, I mean for real, so that those parents can know what we're doing to identify.
Similar to Star Math, which we've started 2 years ago. Star Math provides a parent document. Link It gives us what I call for the fingertip report.
Yeah, okay.
So they'll have access to that at conference time.
And from that point on, will they have access to reading that, like, other than at the conference? Are they gonna be able to see that in their parent portal somewhere?
They won't be able to see that in their parent portal, but they're welcome to contact our staff or our building principals or our reading specialists at any time.
Because I'm thinking about about after conference, how that parent wants to see how their child's trending, if they were on the bubble and where they're moving, how they're moving before the end
Sure,
of
and
the school year.
I also think that's a good product of what we talked about, David and Heidi. Those are the things that our staff are doing now with making sure that parents are, full range of communication, or carrying concern, phone calls, emails, that type of thing.
Okay.
I'm not sure if I asked you this before, and I don't recall if I did or not, so excuse me. But I wanted to know if supervisors are using the Lincoln as part of the evaluation process for their teachers. Are they using Lincoln? No, I'm talking about, as part of the teacher observation. Do they go in and look at the Lincoln and look at what the kids are doing in that particular class? Is it
No.
used? No? Okay.
That would have a bearing on there.
Yeah.
Okay, good. Well,
Good luck, Dr. Mallow.
Good luck.
You know, I always say.
Rough night.
All right.
Oh, you can handle it.
Thank you very much for having me tonight. So Brian, I'm going to piggyback off what you said in terms of the kind of being an old child. I think all of us went to high school. We were under the impression that was all about SATs, got to do really well in the SATs, got to score a great score. Not so much today. You're now seeing more and more universities/colleges actually kind of downgrading from the SAT. They're actually looking sort of that optional testing kind of procedure of, now actually it's not the actual SAT test, but it's more importantly, let's look at your curriculum, actual writing within that curriculum. So then also, what are you doing in terms of volunteerism, the clubs, activities that you're participating in school, and so on. So you really are looking now at that whole child. So although I'm presenting SAT scores, at least a summary of it tonight, and the fact is more and more of our students are kind of really looking at, well, what college fits me now? And what can I talk to my counselor about in terms of fitting into that school versus just a number to get into, of course, that college. First, let's start with AP. If you're not familiar with the Advanced Placement Program, I think the first thing that pops into your head is the two words, advanced placement. This has to be for smart kids, unprogram. The AP program, honestly, is really about your passion in that content area. So for example, U.S. History. That, of course, is something I wish I had actually had the opportunity to, of course, partake in, but my high school did not have it. We were very lucky as a school district to have several AP programs. I believe it is 25 in total across all of our departments, which is incredible versus other school districts, of course, in the state of New Jersey that barely have 5 or 6 AP programs. All right, so just kind of looking at our 5-year school score summary for, again, our scores. And again, if you're not familiar with the program itself, the AP exam takes place within the first 2 weeks of May. Actually, the first exam usually, I believe, is AP Government Politics, unless they move that. The scores now, it's a little strange. You're wondering, all right, where's the 70%? What does all this mean? If you score a 3 or higher on an AP exam, you have the possibility of gaining the thing you really want out of it, and that is college credit. Are all schools taking 3 for college credit? The answer to that is no. For example, if you are in a local area, if you're going to William Patterson University, they're taking a 3. If you're going to Rutgers University, they're going to take, on average, a 4 from an AP exam. If you're going to Montclair State University, they're taking a 3. Now, in terms of the actual 3 score, that's kind of like your minimum in terms of success. If you score a 4 or a 5, you're kind of almost guaranteed to get college credit. If you're thinking now, what does that mean? I can knock out a few college classes here at high school before I actually even make it to my freshman year. of college. So it's a wonderful thing. $94 per exam versus the thousands of dollars you're paying, again, for that course. All right? If you look at our data, 2015 to 2019, 80%, 85, 79. What does all this mean? It just kind of shows you really that our high school, especially the teachers teaching our AP exams, and just really from experience as well, you have a dedicated staff, but also just students that are very passionate about these courses. And you have a staff that's constantly, and credit to our district, trained for obviously the AP course. This isn't a September to kind of a June situation where you're taking a final exam at the end of the year. You are at a faster pace in the sense of you are starting day one in September. Keep in mind your AP exam is in May, and of course the course will continue after that exam is over. But you are truly kind of in that college pace that entire time. All right, breaking down the numbers from there. Yes.
Quick question. There was a decline in the number of degrees and higher. Is that a result of more kids taking the class? Because obviously the more kids you have doing it, frankly.
Breaking down for your Mr.
Oh,
Yeah, no, absolutely. So looking at 2015, you have 132, and then by 2019,
Yeah,
156.
there we go.
But a couple things have changed. Keep in mind, what the College Board does with, especially our advanced placement exams, they don't, it's not the same exam you're getting in 2015 and 2019. For example, take the U.S. History exam. Back in 2015, this was a, 60 multiple choice questions followed by just 2 formal essay responses, done. Now you're looking at a U.S. History exam in 2019 that is bumped down to about 30 multiple choice questions, a document-based question on top of that, 2 formal essays as well. So they're looking at your writing, your content knowledge, your skills in writing, versus just memorizing content, filling in a bubble, and calling it a day. So a completely different test today than obviously prior to 2015. But again, you're looking at that 71.8% that is still dominant in the sense of how West Milford is doing on the AP exam, overall.
Good.
Absolutely. I think everyone's familiar with our offerings. We have several, again, those 25 from art history, psychology, statistics, computer science, ELA, of course, with 2 there. They do only have 2 within the AP program, but other content areas. And again, history actually would be the winner in terms of the actual amount of courses that are offered, which again includes government politics, U.S. history, and world history as well. Okay. Any questions on AP before I go on to ACT? All right, awesome. ACT, so it's still around. Again, it was a Midwestern sort of admissions kind of exam. Still in competition, of course, with the ACT. Both are battling it out, especially with the written essay portion that is optional at the end of this test. Difference between ACT, SAT. This is more kind of your content knowledge-based skills versus the SAT, which is really more of kind of purely into strategy and puzzle. That's for you. But regardless, it's just another option for our students, obviously, to take for that admissions process. 5-year trend on this as well from 2015 to 2019. In 2015, so again, just kind of going down the lines here, 82 to 67. Again, not too many take the SAT, and you're probably asking yourself why. Answer to that simply is, it's more of an admissions test for those that are really into either mathematics or science. Right? If you're going more kind of the ELA social science route, you're going to take the SAT. And that's really why. And let me just jump to this slide. I'll come right back to this. But in terms of, believe it or not, there's actually no such thing as a good score on the ACT. But in terms of like a minimum score, what kind of colleges expect, English comprehension is an 18, algebra 22, science 22, biology 23. And again, their scale is on a 1 to a 36. So in terms of our district here, we are meeting those minimum kind of score requirements. Along with the state, we're right there with the state of New Jersey with the ACT, again, with obviously the amount of students that are taking this. The high school does offer, so for example, December 14th of this year, we are offering at the high school the ACT, and of course you can take it in other school districts as well. All right, PSAT, NMSQT, the National Merit Scholarship Corporation. So we actually just recently, October the 16th, had the PSATs at the high school. And just to kind of break this down as well for you, in October of 2017, All right, 224, 237, 272. So again, the beauty of the PSAT in October is that all students are taking this assessment. You're asking yourselves why? PSAT, why not? Practicing for, of course, the actual SAT, but also to give them that big shot to try to get the National Merit Scholarship, which again awards them, up to $2,500 towards, again, a college of their choice. Breaking down the data, of course, especially for our 10th and 11th graders, mean score of 901, 962 for the English reading and writing, 460 to 488, and then 441, 474 for the math score. 30% meeting the benchmarks in the English, 63 meeting in the English reading and writing, and 62 for math, 10th grade, and 33% and 61% meeting, and of course I'll summarize this. Yes. Oh, sorry.
Is this PSAT given grades 9 through 12?
In 2017, yes.
Okay.
So 12th grade, though, keep in mind,
Okay, but wait. How many tests are these kids actually taking every year?
Good job.
Do they also take the state test in addition to this test?
So I'm going to fast forward the answer to back in 2017, yes. What we did though as a team, kind of going back to your question, Ms. Van Dyke, in terms of do we actually meet to see kind of what happened last year? We did. So the answer to that is this year, 9th graders did not take the PSAT.
Because looking at that, we had, those kids took the test 4 times. Right?
Well, 3. The
Three, I'm
only,
sorry.
12th graders only took it if they didn't pass it by 11th grade, right?
Correct.
So really,
the
9th,
same
10th, and
test.
11th graders are taking the test every year.
Supposing I have
Yeah.
a student in the high school, and I come in and I say to you, my child is required to take a state test. Why does he have to take that PSAT test? Why does he have to pass that? If he's not in line to be like a national merit or a scholarship, why isn't he just taking this in 11th grade?
The hypothesis, when we administered this test to so many, it was going to increase student involvement in the SAT. It was going to better prepare students for the SAT, leading to more students taking the SAT.
Did you see that?
We don't know if that is conclusive, so we did take away a yearly test this year's administration. It was administered to one less grade level this year.
Yep.
So we're still looking at the data, but that was the hypothesis when this program was put in place.
How many tests are these kids taking every year, right now? Like 2019, excuse me, in 2019, 2020, how many tests are our students taking this year?
Tests,
Tests, standardized tests.
standardized tests.
How many?
It's kind of hard to.
Well, no, it's not. You're either taking the PSAT,
It's not.
If
Well,
I'm
the
in
high school tests were, it's a little bit of an ebb and flow every year, something gets added or deleted. So last year, the Department of Ed removed the 11th grade test at the high school,
Yes,
the
sir.
SLA.
So you did this.
So it was, this last spring, we did 9th grade and 10th grade only. We used to do 9, 10, 11.
Yes,
They removed 11. We used to go 3 through 11, now it's 3 through 10.
this is awesome.
So we used to do PSATs 9, 10, 11, now we do it 10, 11.
But here's my question. I
How
have
many
10th
tests?
graders, which I don't, thank God. God bless all of you
Sean says to know how many
teenagers.
tests, just count them out.
I have a
And
10th
JS down
grader, and how many tests is he going to take this year?
You're talking about
Standardized.
So besides the PSAT, she's saying, is there any other standardized
Yes, a
test?
state
A
test.
10th grader would
State
take
test.
the PSAT,
That's
which we
one.
hope would prepare him or her for college. They would take the New Jersey SLA in math, and the New
So-
Jersey SLA in English.
All right, but that's one state
That's it.
test.
So if you include math and English separate, it's,
I know, but I'm talking about type test, because PSAT is divided to language arts and
Then it's
math.
two.
I'll tell you.
okay, so then that
But
would
my
be 2.
That's
point
one
is,
sitting.
my point
Right.
is, in a question,
It's 2.
are we over-testing our children? Are we taking away from instructional time in order to satisfy numbers?
I don't believe so. I don't think so. We actually were able to add some time in math this year
Yeah,
at the
Elementary.
K to 6 level.
I'm talking about high school.
I mean, if I could just comment, I think, and obviously my population, like the population that I serve is sometimes the population that some would argue maybe should not be exposed to multiple tests. But what I can tell you is that I think that it does a disservice to some of our students that by not allowing them the opportunity to practice and to actually like take a test and see how they perform on those tests, because sometimes then we're cutting short students that maybe they never saw themselves as a student that could potentially go to college or never would have taken it. But what we have found is that, at least for some special needs students, they, by repeating the test, it actually better prepares them to then when they're taking a test that they can go on to. Or even if they were gonna take a test for the services, and I'm blanking on the name of it.
ASVAB.
The ASVAB. These type of tests prepare them, but it does prepare them, because otherwise, how are they taking those tests? Again, just my professional opinion.
Yeah.
Wait a second, because Ray has been standing there with his hand up for a while.
So, if I'm a 10th graders, which I am not, right, I have to take that test.
Yeah.
I know I'm not gonna go to college.
At this point
I
in
know
time,
I'm not
yes.
gonna move
Yes,
forward.
at this point in time.
PSAT had always been an optional test. I have to take that now.
Yep.
I can't opt to say I don't wanna take that test.
It's our curriculum for that day. That's what we're teaching.
Not everybody's going to go to college.
And stay home.
But they should have the.
Did you hear what I just said?
That's just their decision, but we don't want to see them in a position where they haven't taken the PSAT, they haven't taken the SAT, now they have no option but to not go to college.
But they don't have no option. So instead of taking that test, could I be in the auto shop? Could I be doing something different instead of taking that test, because I know that I have a different path that I want to take?
I don't believe so.
And is it that just our school system that does this, or is it?
No, I'm about to comment on that. Yeah.
So I was just quoted in a
Yep.
radio show recently for, bragging that, we don't often find the answers within the walls of West Milford. We look at,
Yes.
we look throughout the district and throughout the county, throughout the state for examples of good things that are going on. We talk about it even today at our MACABIN meetings today about what our other successful places doing. I'm the president of the Passaic County Curriculum Consortium. I talk to the whole county every time I hold a meeting, and these are the conversations that I foster. What are we doing? What are you guys doing? This district is really doing a great job. Tell me what you're doing. We're happy to learn from you. This was one of those things that I said earlier, began with the hypothesis. As any good thing, any learning, any growth begins with an idea, and you test it and you see what happens. So we're in test mode. To be honest with you, at my office, and I don't shy away from phone calls, I haven't heard a single complaint from the parent community about this particular assessment. We did identify that we were now administering the Linkit benchmark assessment to the freshman class in ELA, so we pulled back on the offerings of the PSAT. So we are in that process of trying to judge the right balance of preparing kids for the tests that affect our property values and the student's future, and for preserving that classroom instruction. So I think we've done a good job with making those judgments as we go year to year. So at this point in time, those are the classes that's being offered to them. We're still looking at that data and what it means.
Will and Kate both have their hands up. I don't know who is for Kate.
I fully agree. I think this is amazing. This is done in high schools all over the state. And parents are then not needing to take on the, getting the practice test for the SAT, because they've practiced with the PSAT at school maybe 3 times, okay? It is a graduation requirement that they have to pass one of those tests to graduate. And the other thing, I absolutely agree with Liz too, and I've seen it in my own career, is that kids that have practiced these tests are then able to go and do better the next time they take the ASVAB, and they've said, well, I also did that other test, remember? And it's the PSAT. I'm also in full support of not testing the 9th graders, and I think that goes to possibly Terry's, are we over testing? Well, no, we have to figure out the exact right amount, I I know this last test this October, where I work, we tested 9th and 10th 10th and 11th graders. And I'm not sure, I think we only just test 11th this October, this month?
You just said we tested 10th and 11th.
We did 11th, though. We did 11th in October, 10th grade leave.
Okay, so I was curious about that change, because I thought we always tested them together. This is amazing, and it's really what works, and I would even jump to say that I think some of this could be because how our scores are raising too, because kids are getting the practice, they are understanding. You know, we're not having parents complain like we did when Park was rolled out, and, you know, do they have to do it? Well, it's the curriculum that is happening in their classrooms that day, you know? So I'm in full support of this. I think this is awesome, and I'm glad that you didn't test the 9th graders this year. I think that was a smart decision. I just wanted to share that.
Well, you had something.
I'm actually disappointed that the 9th graders aren't getting tested. When this was unveiled in 2016, this initiative, is that correct? I thought it was great at the time. I wasn't on the board. 2017, this came out and is producing data points for the board. I'm in full support of having this structure, because then we can see if we are having shortcomings. And having a PSAT in 9th, 10th, and 11th grade, you allow the opportunity to safely fail. I mean, if a student doesn't really want to take it, does it really harm them? No, but if a student is trying to see where they measure up in the PSAT level, guess what? Our board has provided that. So let's keep going with this, in my opinion.
Real quickly, it helps the kid that they see where they are, they can develop some expectations about what they might be able to do.
I do agree with Ray. If you have a child, because we're a comprehensive high school and we're not strictly looking at sending every child to college, if you're testing that child that isn't going to college and you're testing them multiple years, are you deterring them from staying in our school and pushing them to another school because they're not on that track?
But you could see 12th graders, at least 10 of them didn't pass a test by the time they got to 12th grade.
Right.
And we provided them, at least these kids, 9th grade tests, 10th grade tests, 11th grade tests. So
I don't know that answers that same question.
I got you.
I get both sides of it.
Yeah, I do too.
I'm just expressing, I understand where Ray's coming from, because we have a portion of our population who are not college bound, and probably are not good test takers to begin with. But if we're forcing them to take a test that they don't want to take, you know, are we then over-testing them and forcing them out? That's what I.
Well, and trying to keep our kids here, I think, is a great, valid thing. But if we find out, and I don't know the answer to this, but I would be shocked if our technical schools are not giving the PSAT during school right now. And we could find that out.
I guess that would be interesting to find out.
I would be shocked if they're not.
Very good question.
I know Sussex Tech is, but I don't know about Passaic.
I just wanted to
Cat right here, education.
PCGI does attend our meetings. I don't know the answer.
Everybody's
for
doing
them
it.
Directly for PCGI.
I don't know the answer for that, but I would like to comment on just I would like to comment on one thing. I just want to say that even for students that you're preparing, and again, I'm very involved in students that are not college bound, those students still have to be able to perform certain tasks because they're still going to go to a trade type school, most likely, unless they're going to go into the workforce, which then, ironically, at the November meeting, we're going to be talking about transition planning for students. So we're going to touch on what we do for those students. But I think I have not, and also similar to Mr. Novak, I have not received calls from any parents or anybody ever reaching out that they're concerned about their student that's not a college-bound student taking this test. The concerns that I get from the public and the parents are that we maybe said a child would not have gone a certain direction and that we didn't, and we had this come up at the board level with a parent this, past summer about a child that identified themselves as going not the college route and then changed their minds in the spring of their senior year. So that's, again, it's only my professional opinion, but I just wanted to put that out there because the parents that I've talked to are like wanting us to push their kids higher. You know, that's,
May I make one final thing? The reason I'm so concerned about the over-testing is that if you look at statistics, and Kate, you should know this, you know, from your job, we have so many kids who are anxious and depressed, and I think that putting these kind of tests on them gives them undue pressure. You know, one test a year, I could see that, you know, standardized test. But to test them over and over again and to have an anxious child, I think that's a potential problem. And if we can identify those anxious children, you know, maybe I would accept the number of tests that we do. But that's what I'm really concerned about, the stress that it puts on
Well, and
these
I'm
kids.
always, you know, yeah, I'm always concerned about the anxious
Yeah.
child, which is why we need to have support.
And I
But
don't think
teaching
we
them
do.
how to do the testing and getting through so that they can have a future career and, you know, possible education if that's what they want, you know. I agree with you, but this is very standard and we're doing it and it really, I think we're doing great. I do.
Yeah, I think it's been a good discussion.
I think it's worthy of additional.
Yeah, I think
take a look at
there's
it.
more discussion.
Continue to
to
discuss.
be
We're doing
had
this well.
in an education committee setting.
I'm sorry
No,
for taking
no,
this.
no, that's fine. Okay, and it's over. Thank you very much. Okay, night.
So, again, with the additional data, obviously in October 2018, a year later, which again, we could think the beauty of just looking at it from the data piece, especially going back to 2017, if you look at her scores, especially for, again, English reading and writing, again, focusing on grades 10 and 11, 460, 441, 480, 474, you can see that obviously the scores do, go up. So, I mean, the beauty of that data is just, again, just to at least get sort of that picture of, where are we with the PSATs, again, just to have the extra data piece. The SAT, again, so little different here. We do offer it, of course, at the high school as well. But again, these do take place on Saturday, so not during the school day. Just to give you, again, some data points, national average, the total 1059, in English 531, mathematics 528, New Jersey state average in 1819 was 1089, 544 English, 545.
Where's how many tests we gave?
That's the ACT. I mean, that's the SAT.
I'm curious how many SAT tests we gave. Thank you.
Yep, definitely. The 2007, just again, summarize, kind of putting PSAT, SAT, and SAT, just kind of give you the participation rate as well. 10th and 11th graders taking PSAT, again, 94.8%. In West Milford, New Jersey, 85%. 12th graders taking the SAT or prior years, again, you can take it multiple times, 71.3%. West Milford, 72.2% in New Jersey. And again, 12th graders taking the ACT or prior years, 19%, 24.6%. Again, the ACT just being a test that is not taken as much. All right, of course, in that summary as well, in terms of the participation with each test as well, the averages, of course, and as well as your college readiness benchmarks, at or above benchmark, and of course, New Jersey, where do they stand? So in terms of West Milford, 62%, 32%, 79% SAT, and 43%, of course, in math. So again, you're seeing that trend again going upwards. Oh, sorry. All right, so to answer your question in terms of the SAT, the largest number of students that take the SAT are actually in October, that's followed by November. And again, you do have students that take it multiple times, not just in the 11th grade, but for the most part, the 11th graders are taking the SAT, and they usually do it right away in October because they still have the energy to do it, especially getting themselves ready for college. But the number of test takers in October was 115. State of New Jersey, obviously much more, almost 23,000. But the mean total score 1040. Reading and writing score 526, 513. The really cool part is, especially the College Board is in the process of redoing their data on their site, their K-12 assessment site. And we just got the October 2019 score that just came in. That number 59 may change, especially as more results come in. But 59 in October 2019. Total score 1079, 556, 523, of course, going up. So again, these are tests they're taking on a Saturday. But again, in terms of that 59, I'm very curious to see next month when I do check in, if that number does go up. All right. Wow. Okay. Okay, now just in case you were wondering, our upcoming testing dates, the SAT, recently, of course, October 5th, again, really cool that they were able to have the data up immediately. The next date, May 2nd, 2020, again, it'll be a Saturday here at the high school. And again, if you're looking to take the SAT in another district, you can on a Saturday, just check collegeboard.org for that. The PSAT for grade 10, again, was of course, grade 11, of course, October 16th. February 25th, but that date most likely will be moved to March 3rd for, do an actual mark test. But the ACT should be actually 2019, but we probably will have in 2020 as well, December 14th.
One last question.
Sure.
This is an easy one. Is the SAT boot camp going to be offered before that February or March? Oh, okay, good, thank you, thanks.
So yeah, again, of course, big thank you to our guidance department at the high school. Again, I just wanted everyone to be aware that prior to our assessments, there is parent outreach to, of course, inform and educate. Distribution of those PSA details are always given out. We do have a test prep boot camp offered at the high school the weekend prior to our administration of the SAT, ACT in the spring and fall. After the assessment, those reports just don't get thrown away. They are shared with, of course, our content area supervisors. Counselors, of course, are speaking with their students, with parents, and so forth. And it is utilized, but then we do actually have extra booklets as well from the PSATs that are utilized in the classroom. From the score duration piece, yes?
You probably have data on some kid who took it in the fall and then takes it to boot camp and then takes it in the spring.
Yes.
What's our average improvement from taking it?
We definitely get that for you. With the College Board's revamp of their site, you actually can go into the roster to see that student where they were for that SAT test, their results, and then looking at, right now, unfortunately, they're only showing data which was from 2017 and on because of that revamp, but you can request older tests through them, which of course they have to, usually a hard copy they'll send you. All right, demonstration to pull scores into existing College Board accounts, through creation of new one, demonstration of test prep, demonstration of syncing the score report, and demonstration of PSAT scores and scattergram. Once again, the program, of course, linking it to universities and colleges. And of course, any resources that you need, the guidance department is, of course, here for you as well for that. To fee waivers, obviously their website, of course, having several options to test prep, Khan Academy, wherever it may be. The explanation of what exactly the Naviance program does for you, especially as a parent, and so on. It's a very long board meeting, so I will stop here. Any questions, comments, concerns?
And so fee waiver, I saw that. Do we do that for, the AP test?
So
we'll need that?
Yeah, we have a budget line to offset costs. We also have the ability for students with certain needs to waive those.
Great.
There's a process through College Board, there's also a local process.
Great.
Just a comment. I'm not sure why you changed this year to test in October and March, and I don't need to know, but what I would ask is that moving forward, being a high school staff member, I know that there is some disruption to your building and that there is. So if you could please check in with our high school staff and see if it works better and look at the scores, because I personally think it might be better to do it all on one day, So if you can just check into that, I think that would be a good thing moving forward. If 10th and 11th graders all tested in October, might be best for us. Maybe it is better to have it on 2. I'm not sure the answer, but please, check into that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good job.
That's really good.
Yeah, that was good. God, we're still on the first page.
This is fantastic.
Snuck out.
She'll be right.
I know, I'm just teasing.
I just got to say, that's absolutely outstanding. You should be really proud.
Yeah, it's a,
In fact, all of us students and our teachers.
Yeah, it
This is
was a
lot of
great
work, and that's a
presentation. It was a little long, but I
wonderful
think,
No, it was
you know,
very
the
good.
data was very,
good.
very positive this year. So we had a great year academically, in a year when a lot of districts did not. So you notice, you know, when you go up 5 percentage point and the state average goes down 3 percentage points, it's a pretty large gap. So, and in some grades, we had a double-digit, you know, growth compared to the state. So we're very proud of our students, our teachers, our administrators pulling together. And thank you, of course, to the board for all the support over the past year. You know, there's a lot of money we spend. I'll just say, I don't want to say link it again, but there's a lot of money we spend on programs, link it, professional development, textbooks, Chromebooks, you name it. And you can't do all of this without money. I know money's not everything, but it is something. And you know, this doesn't happen without the support of the board. So on behalf of our students, parents, taxpayers, thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Anamone. Thank you, Mr. Novak. Thank you for sitting through the presentation. Sorry it was a little lengthy. Special reports and correspondence, Mrs. Francisco.
The September 17th minutes are available for review and consideration.
I need a motion.
Move to approve the September 17th workshop regular meeting minutes and the September 17th executive session
I'll second.
meeting minutes.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? All right, motion carries. All right, my president's report. I will be short. The board, multiple board members, I believe, Mr. Ofashinsky, Mrs. Fritz, Mrs. Dwyer, myself, and Mr. Guarino attended workshop with Dr. Anamone and Mr. Novak and Mr. Schultz. It was a very good workshop this year. I think it was very insightful. We got quite a lot of information. One of the strong things that we took from workshop is we did a workshop on strategic planning, which our strategic plan is coming to an end at the end of this year. So we're going to be starting the next one. We will have Kathy Hellowa here come November 19th, our next meeting, to discuss what our next steps are for strategic planning for the next 5 years. And basically, that's, you know, there were different trainings for leadership. There was a funding one that we really wanted to get into. However, everybody in the state of New Jersey wanted to get into that one.
And they only offered it once.
Yeah, so we, unfortunately, we did not. But I did speak with our representative today, and I expressed my concern that maybe it should have been offered multiple times. And that ends my report. Public comment. This portion of the meeting is open to members of the public for the purpose of addressing resolutions on this agenda only. Members of the public who have requested to speak prior to the meeting will be recognized by the chair first. Each speaker will be given 5 minutes for a period of 30 minutes. Then, time permitting, other public comment limited to 5 minutes per speaker will be allowed until the 30-minute time period transpires. All members of the public speaking during this public comment period are asked to address topics listed in the agenda. All speakers are asked to sign the register provided and to give their full name, spell their last name, group affiliation if appropriate, and provide their address. Issues raised by members of the public may or may not be responded to by the board. All comments will be considered and a response will be forthcoming if and when appropriate. The board asks that members of the public be courteous and respectful of the rights of others, individuals when speaking. Specifically commenting regarding students and employees of the board are discouraged, and the board and the administration will not respond to them. Students and employees have specific legal rights offered to them by the law of New Jersey. The board is not responsible and is not liable for any comments made by members of the public. Members of the public should consider their comments in light of the legal rights of those affected or identified in their comments. Members of the public are reminded that they are legally responsible and liable for their comments. Anyone wishing to speak?
Seeing none, move to close public.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
All right, and I just have two quick edits to the agenda before we accept it. First one is on page 10. Personnel Student Affairs, Resolution Number 21. We're going to add one name. It is Alexandra Hefferon, Hefferon. The position is chaperone, spring, from Marshall Hill. And the second item is going to be on page 14. Operations and Finance, Resolution Number 4. I'm going to adjust that paragraph in the middle where it says, in the amount of $251,000, and you're going to cross out upon approval. And we're going to add the following statement. Subject to the preparation of a contract of sale approved by board council. So the sentence again is going to read, in the amount of $251,000 and subject to the preparation of a contract of sale approved by board council, authorizes the board president, ... Okay, that's all. Thank you.
Okay, so we need a motion.
Move to adopt the agenda as presented and amended.
Second.
Second. Oh, I'm sorry.
Third.
Yeah, thank you.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? If not, Mrs. Dwyer, Education.
All right, move to approve items 1 through 8 to approve items 1 through 8.
Second.
Any discussion? If not, Mrs. Francisco?
Mrs. Dwyer?
Yes.
Mrs. Fritz?
Yes.
Mr. Drew?
Yes.
Mr. Ovchinsky?
Yes.
Mrs. O'Brien?
Yes.
Mrs. Romeo?
Yes.
Mr. Seidowitz?
Yes.
Mr. Guarino?
Yes.
Mrs. Van Dyke?
Yes. For the motion 9, we'll need to
That's after executive session.
after executive session. Okay. Personnel, Mrs. Fritz.
Sure. I would like to move items 1 through 30 under Personnel and Student Affairs. Second.
Any discussion?
I do. I would, I have a question on number 28. I would like to table that until after executive session, please.
Do we need a second for that?
Second.
Okay, thank you.
Kate?
I would like to ask to table number 20 till after executive session.
Second.
Okay. Any other discussion? Okay, so,
Parliamentary inquiry then. Should we just voice carry essentially the
Do we need to
motions
do
that we
that?
had? Because we did second them.
You had
And it was
counter,
okay,
since we had a motion to.
okay.
Okay.
Well, on Terry's motion for number 28,
Aye.
all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? For Kate's motion on number 20?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay.
Aye,
So 20 and
Captain.
28 will be separate. Okay, so we're going, right now, we're moving items 1 through
Except for
20 and 28. Any discussion? I do. I just want to thank the first 3, John Hughes, Kenneth Bacala, I'm not sure if I'm saying that right, and Linda Cortez for their years of service to the district. Thank you. And I hope you enjoy your retirement. And that was all I had. Motion, any other discussion? Mrs. Francisco?
Mrs. Fritz?
Yes.
Mrs. O'Brien?
Yes.
Mr. Greeno?
Yes.
Mr. Ovchinsky?
Yes.
Mrs. Romeo?
Yes on all, abstained from 27. Yes on the others.
Mr. Drew?
Yes.
Mrs. Dwyer?
I just want to say yes.
Mr. Seidowitz?
Yes.
Mrs. Van Dyke?
Yes. Operations and Finance, Mr. Guarino.
I'd like to move items 1 through 10 under Operations and Finance.
Second.
Discussion? Number, wait a second here. Number 4, can we have that tabled until after executive session also, in case there's any questions about that?
Second.
Aye.
All those in favor? Opposed? Aye. Okay, so 4 will be separate. Okay, so you're moving items,
1 to 10, but not.
1 through 10, table 4.
okay. Any other discussion? Mrs. Francisco?
Mr. Greeno?
Yes to all, abstain from 9.
Mrs. O'Brien?
Can I say aye or yes?
Yes. Mr. Ovchinsky?
Yes.
Mrs. Fritz?
Yes.
Mr. Drew?
Yes.
Mrs. Dwyer?
Yes.
Mrs. Romeo?
Yes.
Mr. Seidowitz?
Yes.
Mrs. Van Dyke?
I abstain on number 8 and yes to the rest. No,
I'd like to move item 11 under Operations and Finance.
Second.
discussion? If not, roll call, please.
Mrs. Fritz?
Yes.
Mr. Greeno?
Yes.
Mr. Drew?
Yes.
Mrs. Dwyer?
Yes.
Mrs. O'Brien?
Yes.
Mr. Ovchinsky?
Yes.
Mrs. Romeo?
Yes.
Mr. Seidowitz?
Yes.
Mrs. Van Dyke?
I abstain.
I'd like to move item 12 under Operations and Finance.
Second.
Any discussion? Mrs. Francisco?
Mrs. O'Brien?
Yes.
Mrs. Romeo?
Yes.
Mr. Greeno?
Yes.
Mrs. Dwyer?
Yes.
Mrs. Fritz?
Yes.
Mr. Ovchinsky?
Yes.
Mr. Drew?
Yes.
Mr. Seidowitz?
Yes.
Mrs. Van Dyke?
Yes.
Move item 13.
Second.
Discussion? Mrs. Francisco?
Mrs. Romeo?
Abstain.
Mrs. O'Brien?
Yes.
Mr. Greeno?
Abstain.
Mr. Ovchinsky?
Yes.
Mrs. Fritz?
Yes.
Mr. Drew?
Yes.
Mrs. Dwyer?
Yes.
Mr. Seidowitz?
Yes.
Mrs. Van Dyke?
I abstain.
Move item 14.
Second.
Discussion? Mrs. Francisco?
Mrs. Dwyer?
Yes.
Mr. Greeno?
Yes.
Mr. Seidowitz?
Yes.
Mr. Drew?
Yes.
Mr. Ovchinsky?
Yes.
Mrs. Fritz?
Yes.
Mrs. O'Brien?
Yes.
Mrs. Romeo?
Yes.
Mrs. Van Dyke?
Yes.
And move item 15.
Second.
Operations and Finance.
Any discussion? Mrs. Francisco?
Mr. Greeno?
Yes.
Mrs. Romeo?
Yes.
Mr. Drew?
Yes.
Mrs. O'Brien?
Yes.
Mrs. Fritz?
Yes.
Mr. Ovchinsky?
Yes.
Mrs. Dwyer?
Yes.
Mr. Seidowitz?
Yes.
Mrs. Van Dyke?
Thank you. Policy, Mrs. O'Brien.
I'd like to move items 1 through 19 under policy.
Second.
Discussion? Right, Will?
I move that we strike the following paragraph from item 19, policy 9400, media relations. The Board of Education reserves its right to regulate the exercise of school district staff members' First Amendment rights of the United States Constitution in such situations to the extent that such exercise may interfere with safe and orderly operation of the schools and the learning environment.
Second.
All those, any discussion on the motion? Did you call Dr. Anamone about the, I'm sorry. just-
We had talked about that before, and under, this is an employment arrangement, and I believe, employer does have a right to kind of restrict comments by employees or direct things through a spokesperson or so forth, so.
I was sorry that you weren't able to attend policy.
I wasn't, I was on vacation.
I know, I'm sorry
I was
that you
happy
missed it.
with
No, but I'm saying, I didn't know if you had a discussion with Dr. Anamone after the meeting, after the committee meeting about this, because we did bring it up through the committee, and there was no one that felt to change it, but go ahead.
I think the rest of the policy, I think I was pretty clear with the last meeting with this. But the fact that it specifically says restrict First Amendment rights of the United States Constitution, no way, no how, not doing it. I'm voting no.
Okay.
Otherwise.
Anyone else discussion?
This is a difficult one. I see both sides. I don't like the wording, but I absolutely understand for the safety of our students and our, that we do have to limit what's allowed to be said to the media. But I do understand Will's point, and I respect it. Like, no one should be limiting the constitutional rights of any American, no matter where they work, right? So it's the wording that I struggle with, and I agree with them. However, the purpose of this wording in this policy is that we can't have staff members reporting to the media inappropriately. So I really see both sides.
Nicole?
I basically agree. I remember when we had this other discussion.
Yeah.
I originally was on the one side, and after kind of talking it through,
Yeah.
understanding it's as the employer and the safety element, that it does make sense. The wording is a little squirrely, but overall, the concept makes a lot of sense.
And we didn't word it. but,
No, I know,
yeah.
I know.
Did you have your hand up, Deb?
Yeah, I sure did. I don't like the way it's worded either. It just, it reminds me of the bubble kid. It just, kind of really doesn't sit well with me. I'd rather have it called something else.
I didn't name it.
Okay, I didn't say you did. You jump on me on other stuff, Mr. Novak, but you're not getting credit for that. But the fact remains is that we have to protect our, no, it's not, no.
Employees.
You can go home now if you want.
It's good.
All joking aside, we have to protect the rights of our kids. We have to protect the privacy of our kids. We have to protect the privacy of our faculty and staff. And we have to protect, especially in the climate that we're in today. And that's where I feel that this is an extremely important thing to pass.
Will?
My final push. The rest of the policy literally says that. Paragraph after paragraph does that protection. This paragraph, I don't know who in their infinite wisdom decided to say, let's say First Amendment rights of the United States Constitution. If we remove that paragraph, the rest of the policy is fine. It says that. The fact that it restricts the exercise that would be disruptive to safe and orderly operations of the school, the rest of the policy does that. Why does it need to say restrict the First Amendment rights of the United States Constitution?
Well,
Really?
We
I mean, that's a
didn't ask for the
lawsuit waiting
policy.
to happen. That
The policy
is.
was an update from SBA, which does the policy.
Well, I think they're wrong.
They might change it again,
They might.
based on some of this.
Okay.
Kate?
So I definitely heard other people around the table say, I don't like the wording. We didn't word it. But it's our job to change the wording of the things that we don't like. And it is our job to change those policies. And it is our job to read those words and say, this isn't the way we want this worded. So I came in here honestly thinking I was going to vote for this policy. And now I'm feeling like, just in hearing my colleagues around the table too, is that we didn't word it, but we don't like the wording. But it's our responsibility to change it when we don't like it. So now I'm leaning, yes, that's within our right to change wording on a policy.
Yeah, this is not,
Wait,
this is not a state
wait,
I'm sorry, not a
let's
state
go around the
policy.
table before
Sorry.
everybody gets,
Can be changed.
let me go to Debbie, because your hand went up, and then Will, and then I'll come to the.
So my question to the board is, what are our options at this time?
We have a motion.
A motion to delete that one paragraph.
Excuse me, Mr. Drew, there's one There's other people that have to speak, yeah.
No.
Mrs. Dwyer, go ahead.
I don't see why we couldn't eliminate this policy. I mean, not the policy, the paragraph. It doesn't, because we don't want to regulate a person's First Amendment rights. We're not doing that. We're talking about restricting a person who is employed by the district of going out and hurting our kids or hurting our faculty and staff or anybody, basically just hurting them verbally. And it's been done before. I mean, we've had board, I'm not going to go there, but anyway. I can see eliminating that altogether.
Okay. Dave?
Yeah, I'd be interested to hear from our council if
Yes.
there's any reason why.
That's where I was going. Go ahead.
Yeah, why we should use throw the Constitution in there or not.
Is it okay if, I know you're next, but would you like to hear from the counselor first?
I think what you said earlier is absolutely accurate. The board absolutely has the right to limit free speech if it interferes with the safe and orderly operation of the school and requires staff members in the course of delivering instruction to identify what's their opinion and what's part of the program. The question for the board is, yes, you have the right to do it. Do you want to put it in a policy so everybody can read it? Or do you just want to leave it unsaid, and then when people ask, well, what gives you the right to do this? What are you going to point to? So I think that if you're not happy with the language, but you're happy with the concept, which is what I think most of you are saying, hold off on approving this tonight and figure out how you like to rewrite the sentence rather than throw the baby out with the bathwater, which may appeal to some of you more than others.
That's worse than bubble kids.
I deserve that. So it's okay. Thank you.
Mr. Drew?
I'll be brief. Been in publicly traded corporations where there are certain kinds of information, if you discuss it publicly, you can actually go to jail. Doesn't have to be in the employment agreement. It is illegal to disclose certain kinds of information, whether you sign it or not. I could sign a contract right now to be a slave of Ms. Romeo. It's unconstitutional.
Get
It's
back.
not that.
Child can be watching.
So, just because you agree to something does not mean that you supersede the Constitution. We can't do that. I swore to protect the Constitution. I'm not going to sign something that says that I'm going to override the Constitution. So I'll vote for the amendment, and I will vote to table the policy if that's what we choose to do.
Mrs. O'Brien?
I'd like to table policy number 19 for a revisit by the policy committee.
We still have a motion on the table.
We already have a motion.
Wait.
For what?
Motion to
His,
amend.
Will's motion is already on the table.
Okay.
We're discussing his motion.
I'm sorry.
So we have to vote on his motion. But we were in discussion, that's why we're still here. So, Kate, did you have something else to add before
I just have a question.
we vote on the motion?
When I look at the policy, there are a lot of strikeouts. So are those things that our policy committee decided that they were going to take out of this, or that's what came from Strauss?
This came from Strauss. Right. So there were no edits here made by the committee.
No.
Thank you.
Will?
The paragraph being removed doesn't take away from the spirit of the policy. It's still a strong policy.
Your
It's
motion
going
is to
back.
remove that paragraph.
That's it.
It is not to
It's
table
the amendment.
motion.
I don't want to table the motion because I think the policy is good, and I feel that removing the paragraph still allows for us to constitute a second reading and not change what the intent of the policy
This is the second reading.
I understand.
Okay.
But if I propose something that altered the spirit of the policy, then that would possibly bring us back to a first reading of that policy. And I don't think that removing this paragraph does.
Nicole?
I agree with what Andy Mr. Brown said in terms of possibly tabling it and revisiting the language, because I think there's still a way to say what that paragraph is saying, and you even kind of paraphrased it more softly than it was in there, about limiting the freedom of speech due to the need to protect and keep students and faculty safe. So I personally am supportive of revisiting the language and possibly altering it, but not removing it altogether. I think there is some value in what it's saying that, to Steve's point, puts a strong message out there that this is within their right because there are things that you should not be doing.
Okay, so we will be voting, any more discussion on the motion that Will has for changing the language with the paragraph that you put forward?
Can you just repeat his motion? Kind of
To strike the paragraph of, "The Board of Education reserves its right to regulate the exercise of school district staff members' First Amendment rights of the United States Constitution in such situations to the extent that such exercise may interfere with safe and orderly operation of the schools and the learning environment."
Does anybody did you have more that you
Yeah,
wanted?
I don't think, I would not go for removing that whole paragraph. I would go for rewording it.
Okay, so let's first vote on Will's motion. I do a roll call on this one.
Mr. Seidowitz.
Yes.
Mr. Drew.
Yes.
Mrs. Dwyer.
No.
Mrs. Fritz.
No.
Mr. Guarino.
No.
Mrs. O'Brien.
No.
Mr. Ovshinsky.
No.
Mrs. Romeo. Sorry.
Yes.
Mrs. Van Dyke.
No.
Motion to table item number 19.
Right,
Second.
I
only sit here, don't worry.
I wanted to go to Mrs.
Debbie.
O'Brien, who already had put that in.
That's okay.
Go ahead,
I
Debbie.
think my voice that came out of Mr. Joe, it's all right.
Silent, no. Debbie. He's your slave.
I'm sorry, Mrs. O'Brien, your motion is to table 19
for further discussion.
to bring it back to committee for further discussion on that
Second.
paragraph. The second was Mr. Ovshinsky. Discussion on that. Mrs. Romeo.
Who, at this table tonight, sees the Strauss estimate policies that come, is this what came from Strauss?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay,
This came through policy.
yes,
That's,
thank you.
So, and if you look at the minutes, this would have been
So we all see it.
this would have been the September policy committee meeting. If you look at the minutes, it would have said what the edits were, if any.
Okay.
Mr. Seidowitz, I'm going to encourage you to be at November's committee meeting because you're on policy and it will give you a chance to discuss this, okay?
Okay.
I know, I'm getting there.
All right, sorry.
I'm sorry.
It's okay.
Any other discussion on the motion that's on the floor? If not, Mrs. Francisco.
It's a motion to table.
Motion to table.
Mr. Seidowitz.
Yes.
Mr. Drew.
Yes.
Mrs. Dwyer.
Yes.
Mrs. Fritz.
Yes.
Mr. Guarino.
yes.
Mrs. O'Brien.
Yes.
Mr. Ovshinsky.
Yes.
Mrs. Romeo.
Yes.
Mrs. Van Dyke.
Yes. Now, we're back to the motion that's here for the rest of the items under policy.
One
up
through
to
18.
Item 18. Any discussion on the rest of them? If not, Mrs. Francisco.
Mr. Ovshinsky.
Yes.
Mrs. Dwyer.
Yes.
Mr. Drew.
Yes.
Mr. Guarino.
Yes.
Mrs. O'Brien.
Yes.
Mrs. Fritz.
Yes.
Mrs. Romeo.
Yes.
Mr. Seidowitz.
Yes.
Mrs. Van Dyke.
Yes.
That concludes policy.
Thank you, Mrs. O'Brien.
You are so welcome.
Committees and committee reports and liaison. Parks and Recreation, Mr. Guarino.
No report.
No report.
You're welcome.
Ah. Safety.
Are there I have a question. Are there meetings lined up?
There have not been a number of meetings. There was one this past Thursday that I could not get to.
Thank you.
I got an email from,
It's always tough with that committee to get back after,
They have had a, yeah, they've had a.
I think
tough
after
go.
next week, you'll probably have a better chance of getting it. Safety, there was a meeting on October 10th. It really consisted of an update on Stonegate, the Stonegate review, because they were here over the summer, correct?
Correct.
And
fall, too.
And the next meeting is scheduled for January 7th of 2020, which seems hard to believe. That ends that report. Superintendent's roundtable. Mrs. Dwyer, I attended for you.
Yeah, I am, you know I won't be there until
Right.
May.
Right. There were a few things discussed, mostly discussion on the PTA's mind was the move of the sixth graders to Macapin. If that happens, how they can address the fifth graders that are there, that will be the sixth graders that will be moving, so they'll be losing 2 grade levels in a building for next year, if that happens. So there was a lot of discussion about that. There were some comments about the upgrade of the website. And the next meeting is actually Thursday, Halloween. And Passaic County School Boards, I attended the meeting on October, I can't remember if it was the 2nd. It was a team building meeting, and it was just the beginning of, they elected the new officers for Passaic County. The next meeting is Monday, the 4th. I don't know if anybody's interested in going. It's, I'll be attending, I believe Mrs. Dwyer is going to, and it's in Pompton this month. New Jersey School Boards, I gave that report. We attended New Jersey School Boards workshop down in AC, and I told you when Mrs. Heller will be coming. Legislative, Mr. Seidowitz.
This is mildly off topic from legislative, but kind of in the same ballpark. The NJSBA and Mental Health Services have finished their Mental Health Task Force report. So that's a commissioned report that made 71 recommendations ranging from prevention to intervention to response, and included topics like the role of families in social media. So that's something that perhaps we could visit as a board. In standardized testing, in an almost unanimous vote, the New Jersey State Board of Education advanced a proposal that would reduce the number of standardized tests and graduation requirements for high school students. The measure, which still needs final board approval, is now up for a 60-day public comment period. If it passes a second vote, it would apply to the classes graduating after 2022. And lastly, there are assembly elections, so pay attention to who is running, because that could change the constituency of the legislature itself. And that's my report.
Thank you.
And we are not voting at PK school this year.
That's right.
Technology oversight.
So we're working on scheduling a meeting for November. I will say, down at the conference, I attended something as it relates to esports, a couple superintendents, some tech people in there. Believe it or not, colleges now give scholarships for esports. It's become a varsity sport in some of these high schools in New Jersey and around the country. It's also club activity in a lot of high schools in New Jersey, so I thought it's something that we could look at, and it's a great way to incorporate, right, gaming, esports, health, and what we do to promote good health when you're doing those things, the TV production, communication, so you can incorporate a lot of different things into that. It's really technology-based, so cool stuff.
Ray, what is that called, please?
So esports is actually a big thing now, right? Not just throughout the U.S., throughout the world. So interesting statistic, the only thing watched more than the League of Legends, which is a game, the only thing watched more than League of Legends, legitimately people sitting in front of computers and playing a game, was the Super Bowl. Nothing else was watched more than that. Not the World Series, not
match maybe, I don't know, but that was a long time ago.
Oh, I
Not
can
the
relate
World
to that.
Series, not
Everything else, I'm
hockey.
like.
So it is a big thing, and colleges are offering scholarships for this now also. So it's amazing to see that, and they talked about things, and it is a billion-dollar-plus industry. You can make millions of dollars playing these games. Yeah.
I also
But again, it's just that elite group that can make those $1 million, just like football players and hockey players and baseball players, so.
Wow.
That's big.
That's
When is your next
mind-boggling.
meeting? Do you know?
We're working on scheduling
Okay.
something for the first couple of weeks of November.
Wow.
There was
An email
this,
to Alex.
for your committee, there was discussion about the website.
Yep.
Yep.
You might want to.
So we've got website and we've got media, we've got how we use social media, some of the things. So Nicole and I have talked about those things. We also attended
Branding.
how we can market our
Workshop.
school system
Good.
through the website and social media. So I think there's some good stuff that we're talking
And
about.
the mobile, I think you were referring to the mobile, some of the
Yes,
formatting
yeah.
things
Yeah.
that we talked
Yeah.
So
about.
formatting, Robert is working on.
Okay, yeah, because
Fine-tuning.
there was a few that came through students, superintendent.
Yeah, so for those,
roundtable also.
for those that don't know, if you look on your phone, sometimes our website doesn't size right to a phone. You have to turn your phone landscape to really see things, so we're working on that.
And the way the drop downs happen,
Yeah.
that
Yeah,
had something.
because it covers the whole screen.
Right, yeah, so. Township Board of Education Joint Committee.
We have a meeting on Monday morning
Yes, we do.
at 9 a.m., and we had one last month that covered, again, discussion about Hillcrest, discussion about YMCA, and hopefully we'll get some kind of resolution in the next couple of months. So.
That would be nice.
You have a question?
Yes.
Mrs. Dwyer, would you be able to bring up open space funding and the possibility of using that for any Board of Education-owned fields?
I don't think, are we,
I don't know if you can do that with Board of Education.
yeah.
It's worth a
I don't
shot,
know
isn't
either.
it?
I'd have to check.
Open
Yeah.
space funding.
Because you have to
Because we
open that
are
up
not.
to everyone, like.
And
And-
we're not,
Mr. Ovshinsky is knowledgeable about open space
Yeah,
funding.
well, this is the town's funds, I believe so. And I'm actually not quite sure what restrictions they may have, so it's worth asking.
Yeah.
Okay.
And let them
I will.
tell you yay or nay, or.
Sure.
I'll bring it up. Thank you.
We'll go look into it and get, yeah.
CASA,
We didn't have a meeting.
no meeting, okay. Okay, old business. I'm going to Mrs. Fritz first, go ahead.
That's fair.
I don't know if it fully fits here, but I didn't want to interrupt after your president's report. I just wanted to give a shout out. I know we had an email about it, but I also attended the trunk or treat and the Matheson Spectacular and Mr. Gerald and all of the staff that had a hand in it, because I can't even believe what goes into putting that haunted hallway together. The kids absolutely loved it. It was really well attended, and I think it was really nice that it was open to the community, and, you know, the middle schoolers
That
got
is
their
nice.
preview day on Friday, but I know a lot of them that went back the next night, so it was a great job done by
It actually probably was double the amount of people
Yeah.
they had last year.
And it was very well organized. I mean, I remember the
Yes.
first one, they really, you know, worked very hard to kind of schedule people and work out the waiting and stuff, so it was run very well.
And the community input,
Yeah.
the ambulance corps and the fire department was wonderful.
nice.
Really was a great.
Good job.
Well,
Just, again, putting it on the radar, I understand that the subcommittees for the sixth grade reorganization or the consolidation is taking up a lot of time, but the real estate brochure or the welcome to West Milford type of brochure, I just want to throw that on the radar again.
Mr. Novak has something on the back burner on that.
Yeah, so we've
been
been
4
talking,
years.
I don't know if we talked about it Ed Committee or recent
Yeah,
discussion
yeah.
about reaching out to some of the realtors, and the feedback we're getting is that a brochure sits in a drawer, it's dated, it collects dust, they haven't really been handing them out. So the feedback, and kind of relates to what we're talking about with the technology and branding, is that the people who are shopping for homes now are going to web resources, they're going to online things, they're going to the PTA Facebook pages, they're going to the district websites, they're going to those places. So we're in the process, so we're putting a meeting together with a group of local realtors to hash that out and look at that. One of the initial goals is to create on our website possibly a realtor guided section that would have a collection of frequently asked questions, some FAQs for a potential home buyer. Great year to launch this with, some of the great things we've been doing. We've had some, great work with banners and things over the years, but now we've got the hard data with some significant test score improvements. So great opportunity now to really show it. One of the quotes that came from your speech was, from your session, was that, why don't you say it? If we're not telling the story for our district, someone else is. And I think that's the message we hear from the realtors and what they want. So I get the premise of the brochure, right? And I asked specifically about, this question's come up a few times. I reached out to the realtor and asked, do you guys really want a brochure? It doesn't seem, the trifold thing, and we don't want a brochure. I got a picture of the one they had last time and the collection of that just sit there. So it's an online resource now. They want it, they want to be able to direct a potential home buyer to an online resource. And they also don't want to be put in a position to, they can't go on record that, this is the best place for your kids, yes or not. They could be, they can just direct to a resource. So they don't want to, although we would like them to say, yeah, our schools are the best, that they, that puts realtors in a position. Right.
That's great.
So, yeah, on it.
I mean, the premise is still
Digital
there.
brochure, it's a digital brochure.
I like it. And maybe a video of Dr. Animo doing some, let's go through the
We haven't
district.
done coffee talk with the superintendent in quite some time, so.
Throwing it out there.
Maybe it's time. Guest star, Mr. Kane.
Mr. Drew?
I agree, the brochure, they're not gonna pay much attention to, and they'll throw it out. Just having an online resource still does not draw attention to the important things. My experience with realtors over the years, if you invite them to something where you feed them food, they'll come to it and they'll pay attention to what you have to say. Just having a house listed in the MLS that you can get to online doesn't sell the house. When they have an open house and they provide food, other realtors come and you sell the house. I think the story of how we're doing, for example, with our test scores is something that's worth inviting them in and saying we had a massive increase, so they're aware of it when it comes up, and then they can point their customers to online resources, so on and so forth. It's worth calling attention to the things that we do well, even if you don't put it in the flyer.
We are in the process of that. We've discussed, we've spoken to a few realtors, and they do want to come in and have a breakfast, or, have coffee and discuss this. Mr. Novak's on, that's part of telling them, looking at the online.
Thank you.
Any other old business? Need a motion to close?
Close old business. I'd like to make a motion to close old business.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? New business.
No, just kidding.
Oh, God. I'd like to make a motion to close new business.
Second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, so we need a motion for executive session.
Not yet.
Not yet. Public comment, I'm sorry.
That's okay. You could try, but you can't get through.
By the time I'm done, I'll have it memorized. This portion of the meeting is open to members of the public having a legitimate interest in the actions of the board for the purpose of addressing any subject matter pertinent to and/or directly related to operations of the West Milford Public School District. Members of the public who have requested to speak prior to the meeting will be recognized by the chair first. Each speaker will be given 5 minutes for a period of 30 minutes. Then, time permitting, other public comment limited to 5 minutes per speaker will be allowed. Until the 30-minute time period transpires, all speakers are asked to sign the register provided and give their full name, spell their last name, group affiliation if appropriate, and provide their address. Issues raised by members of the public may or may not be responded to by the board. All comments will be considered and a response will be forthcoming if and when appropriate. The board asks that the members of the public be courteous and respectful of the rights of other individuals when speaking, specifically commenting regarding students and employees of the board are discouraged.
Thank you.
And the board and the administration will not respond to them. Students and employees have specific legal rights afforded to them by the laws of New Jersey. The board is not responsible and is not liable for any comments made by members of the public. Members of the public should consider their comments in light of the legal rights of those affected or identified in their comments. Members of the public are reminded that they are legally responsible and liable for their comments. Anyone wishing to speak during public comment?
Seeing none, I make a motion to close public comment.
Second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, we need a motion for executive session.
Okay, at 9:29 PM, Teresa Dwyer made a motion to go into executive session for the purpose of discussing personnel appointments, resignations, current litigation matters, special education matters, negotiations, HIBs, and matters of attorney-client privilege. The executive session minutes will not be released until such time as the privilege or confidentiality is no longer applicable.
Second. And we will be returning for action from executive session. How long will we be?
30 minutes.
Yeah, 30 minutes?
Aye. Yeah? Aye.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
All right.
I'm leaving my books in my briefcase. I'll figure the rest out later.
I'd like to call the meeting back to order. And Mrs. Francisco, could you do a roll call, please?
Mrs. Romeo?
Here.
Mr. Seidowitz?
Here.
Mr. Drew?
Here.
Mrs. Dwyer?
Here.
Mrs. Fritz?
Here.
Mr. Greeno?
Here.
Mr. Ovchinsky?
Here.
Mrs. O'Brien?
Here.
Mrs. Van Dyke?
Here. Okay, we're going to go into personnel, motion under personnel. Nicole?
Oh, are we?
Well,
Okay.
yeah.
Nicole,
let-
I tabled number 20.
Mhm.
So if you want me to
Go
say
ahead, Kate, I'm sorry.
it. We're going to postpone under personnel, item number 20.
Second.
All those, is that a roll call or is it a?
The voice vote.
Voice vote
Roll
one?
call.
Oh, do you want a roll call?
Yeah, if you want one, do
Okay,
one.
roll call, vote.
Mr. Seidowitz?
Yes.
Mr. Drew?
Yes.
Mrs. Dwyer?
Yes.
Mrs. Fritz?
Yes.
Mr. Greeno?
Yes.
Mrs. O'Brien?
Yes.
Mr. Ovchinsky? Mrs. Romeo?
Yes.
Mrs. Van Dyke?
Yes. Nicole, number 28. I'm sorry.
Um,
28?
It's postponed.
No, I thought-
Move
No, we're not
28.
postponing
Needs to be
it.
moved.
Moving
Yes.
it.
Okay,
Moving
that's-
it.
Yeah.
okay. I'd like to move number 28 under personnel.
Second. Discussion?
You said remove, right?
No,
No, move.
Discussion?
Vote, yeah.
Just voting on it.
Yep.
No discussion? If not, Mrs. Francisco, roll call?
Mr. Seidowitz?
Yes.
Mr. Drew?
Yes.
Mrs. Dwyer?
No.
Mrs. Fritz?
Abstain.
Mr. Greeno?
Abstain.
I'm sorry.
Abstain.
Ms. O'Brien?
Get back to me, please.
Mr. Ovchinsky?
Yes.
Mrs. Romeo?
Yes.
Mrs. Van Dyke?
I'm going to vote yes, but I want to make it clear that we have done this for other employees, and that after discussion with Dr. Anamone, we would do it for all our employees. So I feel that it's important that we remember that it is something that we have not denied anyone else before.
Ms. O'Brien.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Now we need Mrs. Dwyer.
Okay. I move to approve the recommendations of the superintendent on the following resolutions. 2020 M1 as unsubstantiated, 2020 H1 as unsubstantiated, 2020 H2 unsubstantiated, 2020 E2 substantiated, but now how do I do this? Because the board rejects this.
So don't vote on that.
Okay, we don't vote on that.
We'll leave that one separate.
Okay, and H3,
And E3.
let me see, E3,
Exactly.
reject the substantiated, and 2002 H3. Oh, wait a minute, I'm sorry, 2002 E3 accepted substantiated, 2002, that's E3, screwing this up, 2002 H3 rejected substantiated.
That was rejected.
That was rejected.
And the E2 was a rejected one, right?
E2 and E3.
Yes, rejected.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry.
We need a second.
Yeah.
Discussion?
Who second that?
Mr.
Dave. Roll call?
Mrs. Dwyer.
Yes.
Ms. O'Brien.
Okay, this is for all of them, correct?
Yeah.
Yes.
Mr. Guarino.
Yes.
Mr. Ovchinsky.
Yes.
Mrs. Fritz.
All of them with the rejections.
Yes.
Just making
Yeah.
sure it's
Yeah.
confusing. Yes.
Mr. Seidowitz.
Yes.
Mrs. Romeo.
Yes.
Mr. Drew.
Yes.
Mrs. Van Dyke.
Yes. Now we have
Okay.
one more. Under operations,
Finance.
Mr. Guarino. Number 4.
We are going to move item number 4,
Which we did not discuss in the executive session.
which we did not discuss, but with the amendment that Dr. Edelman gave earlier.
Second.
Discussion. If not, roll call.
Mr. Seidowitz.
Yes.
Mr. Drew.
Yes as amended.
Mrs. Dwyer.
Yes, as amended.
Mrs. Fritz.
Yes.
Mr. Guarino.
Yes.
Ms. O'Brien.
Yes.
Mr. Ovchinsky.
Yes.
Mrs. Romeo.
Yes.
Mrs. Van Dyke.
Yes, I never thought I would ever say yes on this motion, ever.
It's an uphill battle.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Good evening.
Hot dog.
Yeah.
Most of our cafeteria people, who's making $10 an hour, so break up.
That's why we
Keep it, tear it down.
I like those line breaks. Lower left.
Yeah, well, this one is making $16 a month.
They don't,
Two of them are
fly
making
away.
$16.05.
The only thing is I will say, it doesn't go up as easily as the other ones, but
And
So
it
here's
seems
the
like
other thing.
actually I usually bring the big
It's
one in.
$120,000.
Keep going.